Now, there's a South African man lurking in the kitchen today making lunch, so we're having a traditional Easter main course from the Cape Malay region in South Africa.
Dean Diplock from the Radisson Blu Hotel in Athlone is with us. Thanks be to the Lord. And Dean, you're going to have to win us over with this one, man. This sounds very exotic for our taste.
I normally bring meat and all that's good, but unfortunately being Lent and going into Easter, we have to do some fish.
This is a South African
traditionally Cape area, yes, very much fish orientated. The dish is actually made with snoek, a type of fish. It's called a snoek. It's a barracuda family.
Want a tissue?
It's a very strong fish and it's got big bones in it. Right. And the Cape Malays love it. But I've toned this down a little bit. I'm just using cod without the bones in it.
So it's a meaty fish you need for this, is it?
It's a bit chunky pieces, meaty fish. Grill is good. Monkfish would be excellent as well. It's a preservative method. We're pickling the fish with curries and vinegar and spices.
See, this is all the rage now.
It's the in thing now at the moment.
Cooking, preserving and pickling.
Correct.
Robin Gill, who was one of the judges on MasterChef, his flagship restaurant, the Dairy in London, that's one of the main ways he cooks food. It's all pickles them. He's got a pantry with the jars with stuff that's just been pickling.
So just leave it in raw and the juices from lemon juice or whatever,
etc. So all I've done is I've just lightly sealed off the fish. Now you don't have to use flour. You can use corn flour or gluten-free flour as well, and that goes into the oven. You can cook it in its entirety. I'm doing it on a low heat, so it's not taking too much colour. All the flavour is going to come from the curry itself. What I've got here is just some onions sweating. To which I'm going to add the spices. If I can ask you to grind that for me.
How long are you cooking the fish for? You don't want to overcook it.
Just until it flakes apart. That's as far as good.
So what have we got in here, Dean?
Coriander and cumin, which I've already roasted off as usual, to give us the flavour.
Well, you've roasted them, so they're seeds that you get, but you roast them before
Correct. I'm going to add some allspice and black pepper. Some fresh garlic as well.
Baby.
Mama.
You can see here the onions have been sweating down, haven't got any colour to them. We don't want to give it too much colour. This is a mild curry powder that we use a lot of in South African cooking. There's
Asian influences in South African?
Specifically the Cape Malay. From Malaysians, various people were brought in from the islands, the Malaysian islands, Indonesia, and they brought with them the masalas and the different spices. Not extremely hot. A little bit finer, please, sir.
Come on. A little bit
I'm going to add a little bit of spice now with some lovely dry chilies, and then I'm going to season with a bit of salt. And our friend, again, is off, as it usually does. And I'm going to bring that back up to the heat again, cook the spice out a little bit, and then I'm going to add the wet ingredients. Perfect. Thank you, sir. That's much better, you see? There you go.
These are a lot of similar ingredients to kind of a standard curry, though, isn't it? Like cumin, coriander, curry powder.
Absolutely, absolutely. Well, that's where they all come. You've got your clove, your allspice, chili, etc. And you can make it as hot as you like. I've used a very mild curry powder, and you don't want it too hot at all.
You got the email.
Well, trust me, it's not hot. It's just nice. He does. Now, a nice cup of brown sugar.
Nice.
This is where we get our sugar, the sweetness from it. You can make it as sweet as you like, or as sharp as you prefer. A little bit of water to start off with, just to start bringing it together.
And again, Dean, as I noticed with a lot of your recipes, which is brilliant about them, you could do this with chicken. You could do this with pork, whatever.
Absolutely, you could. I'm using a red wine vinegar there now. Again, you could use a white wine vinegar. It's a bit lighter, so you don't have that dark colour to it. But that's traditional, would be red wine vinegar from the Cape area specifically. We're going to bring that now up to the boil, and all that's going to happen is those spices are going to cook. And then when it comes to the boil, I'm going to thicken it a little bit with some cornstarch. You don't have to, but it is preferable because it does tend to run a lot. Nice and thick.
Consistency.
The fish, in the meantime, this is some I prepared earlier. Nice chunky pieces, and just coming off the bone.
Well, the fact that you seared them in the flour, will that help the sauce as well?
It will help thicken it. It will, but it's mainly just to stop it from sticking in the pan more than anything else, really. So to that, I'm now going to add where's my little one? That's my favourite little one. Corn flour in a bit of water, make up a slurry.
Which I think is the technical term.
Yeah. Maybe a different choice of word there, Dean.
It's a slurry.
It's a slurry.
It's a flour slurry. Absolutely, that's what it is. Okay, and I'm going to use that now to thicken. So at this point, as I said, you could make this gluten-free by having done the fish initially with corn flour or gluten-free flour as well, which is perfectly acceptable.
Darling, could you pass the slurry, please?
Yes. Right, a little bit of thickening going on now.
Beautiful.
And you can see it starts to come together straight away. And at this point, I would check the seasoning, make sure that it's seasoned enough, because at this point, we're going to pour it over the fish and it's going to sit in the fridge for about 3 days.
What? 3 days?
Yes, for about 3 days.
Steve, we don't have 3 days.
No, we don't. No, we don't, but you should know better. Everything is prepared in advance with me. Okay, so I'm going to...
3 days?
Exactly.
Wow. Mother of...
I'm going to pour this. So this is continuing to cook now as well. So hot fish and all of this is...
something you do on a Thursday morning, Sunday
Well, the
lunch.
idea is that it's done in advance and you don't have to worry about it. You go to church on Good Friday and off you go. So we let that come to room temperature, cool down, and then into the fridge covered. But as usual, we'd have one made in advance. Right.
It comes out 3 days later, looking like this.
There's some knives and forks as well.
So you serve it cold?
It's served cold. You can have it hot, but I'm telling you, there's a spoon over there if you want to scoop right down to the bottom.
And you eat it with a
lovely, fresh, floury bread and butter. Get down to the bottom. There's some lovely pieces underneath there.
Okay.
Now,
right, Tom.
Now, this is obviously something completely different for you guys who prefer
I'm nervous
meat.
but excited at the same time. Tom?
Can't go wrong.
It's lovely.
Lovely fresh bread with it, nice butter. Actually, you know what it's very good with? Hot cross buns.
Really?
Hot cross buns, very popular with that. It's got a little bit of spice,
lovely,
a little bit of sweetness.
Sacrilege to you South Africans. I'd zap it in the microwave and have it hot.
You can, but it's you must understand the temperature in South Africa.
I've offended the whole South African nation with that, but it's lovely. The flavours are beautiful.
We'll see in a minute then for dessert.